Jimmy Fallon. You guessed it. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Sarah.
And the greatest driver.
Zee.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Sarah.
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, I do have a few safety rules to go over. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have any sound or video issues, reach out and grab the red emergency cord. It runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind during the tour, and be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but do keep an eye on them because they could get wet. And lastly, for your safety and those around you, do not use selfie sticks while on board. Now, as we make our way into the studio, to the right here, we've got a lovely view of the San Fernando Valley. And then as we make our way across this street here and start making our way down the hill, you'll see movie posters on your left and right. Those movie posters represent just a small fraction of the more than 8,000 films Universal Studios has made in its more than 100 years of existence. The very first was called David and Pythias, and it came out in 1914. Carl Laemmle founded Universal Studios, and Universal City, that's him right there on your screen, that dapper fella. He had a vision, and that vision was to create a city entirely devoted to making movies. And that's exactly what he did. The entire movie making process takes place here from beginning to end. Everything involved in pre-production, like writing and casting, to the filming itself, to everything involved in post-production, like sound mixing and editing, it all takes place here. And Universal City really is its own city. It has its own postal zip code. There even used to be elected mayors of Universal City who saw to its day-to-day operations and served one-year terms. Some of those mayors included Abbott and Costello, who served jointly, and Doris Day. Here on the right is a real working fire station that serves Universal City. One of the only real things you will see today on the tour. Now, part of Carl Laemmle's vision was to bring guests into the filmmaking process to see it firsthand. Back then, guests would fill bleachers, watch filming take place, and they could even cheer for their favorite stars while they were filming. And that's because back then they were all silent films. They meant to be quiet for the filming process because they weren't recording sound, which isn't the case today. So just a reminder, later on during the tour, we will have a quiet zone. You'll see this pop up on the screen, but then I'll still play some clips pertinent to where we are with the volume turned down. But there's nothing wrong with the sound or the microphone or anything. It's just because we're passing closely enough to Quantum Leap, which is here filming today, that it could pick up my lovely voice booming over this microphone, and we don't want that. So I'll let you know closer to when that is coming up, that stretch of quiet zone for that production. Here on the left is Soundstage 12. It's the largest soundstage at Universal. It's been home to some enormous sets like Dracula's Castle, Frankenstein's Lab, and the Visitor Center from Jurassic Park.
Right.
That on your screen is what the inside of a soundstage looks like. It's a big warehouse-like building that is 98% soundproof with the doors closed. Passing some sound stages here on the left, some of them have their doors open to get a peek into that big warehouse-like building. Shows like Hacks and Bel Air have used these sound stages recently, and in the past, films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Scenes or Psycho. On the right, we are passing construction that is for Super Nintendo World, coming to Universal Studios Hollywood in early 2023. It is already open in Universal Studios Japan. Keep an eye on our website and social media pages for updates on Super Nintendo World. Now, why would filmmakers choose to shoot inside of a soundstage instead of film on location? Well, it gives them way more creative control over their environment. They can control the sound, the lighting. They can even go so far as to control the temperature. For example, for John Carpenter's film The Thing, a great one to keep in mind for the Halloween season, they made it so cold inside of the soundstage that the actors could actually see their own breath. So quite a lot of control that they wouldn't have filming on location. Here on the left beyond these vehicles, that sound stage was used for mission control from Apollo 13, as well as the Grinch's Lair for Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And as you can see, it is a busy day here. This is a real working studio on any given day. Lots of productions are filming or setting up, so it can create a lot of traffic, a lot of busyness here in the front lot, which is super exciting to see. Now, the head of the studio in 1964 was named Lou Wasserman, and Lou embraced television while other studios focused just on filmmaking. That decision enabled Universal Studios to grow, and at that time, Universal filmed and produced the most network television. This series, Never Have I Ever, created by Mindy Kaling, it streams on Netflix, has been doing a ton of filmmaking in sound stages on the right. It's so good. I definitely recommend checking it out. The third season just came out on Netflix in August, and they've been working on season 4. The soundstage on the right has been used for lots of television in recent years, like The Good Place and Mr. Mayor, both with Ted Danson. And looking back, shows like Parenthood with Lauren Graham and Who's the Boss with Tony Danza. So tons of television in Stage 19. Here on the left, we're coming to the production bungalows. These are offices for directors, writers, and producers. Illumination Entertainment is here. They are behind the Despicable Me franchise and Secret Life of Pets. Be sure to check out the new attraction for that in the park if you haven't already. It's a lot of fun. Mark Platt Productions is here. They're working on bringing Wicked, the Broadway musical, to the big screen. And they've announced it's going to be split into 2 parts, so 2 films. So if you're a musical theater fan like I am, super exciting stuff coming from Mark Platt Productions. They also brought us Dear Evan Hansen with Ben Platt. Also here in the bungalows is Brownstone Street Productions. That's Elizabeth Bates production company, and they're behind the Pitch Perfect franchise. Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, has an office right here in the bungalows right now for Young Rock and lots of other projects that they are developing. But before these were offices, they were dressing rooms for stars like Lucille Ball and Rock Hudson. Here on the left, we're coming to Bungalow 5195. It belonged to Alfred Hitchcock, director of Psycho, Rear Window, and The Birds, just to name a few. Now that bungalow belongs to the De Laurentiis Company. They're behind putting Hannibal Lecter on the big and small screen, and the most recent Firestarter with Zac Efron. So that bungalow is still in the horror family. Here on the left are 2 of the newest sound stages here. They look a bit different from the others. They've got some offices and dressing rooms in the front, sound stages in the rear. They were used for Kenan with Kenan Thompson. Exciting time for Kenan. He will be hosting the upcoming Emmys. Super exciting. Will and Grace, when it returned to Netflix, filmed in these sound stages, as well as Hairspray Live. Hairspray Live used these sound stages in part because of their close proximity to the Metropolitan sets that we are entering. Hairspray Live was really filmed live, so they would just have the amount of time of a commercial break to hustle out of those sound stages and set up out here for exterior scenes. So that being said, we're leaving the front lot behind, that whole area of sound stages. Now we're in the back lot, and this is where they film the big stuff, exterior shots on a grand scale. As we make our way into this clearing here, if you look to your right, you'll see our brownstones. They appeared in Home Alone 2 with Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, is throwing bricks down at the burglars, New York City. That was right here at our brownstones. They also appeared in Bruce Almighty.
Grace, the door!
I'm in the shower!
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done. B-E-A-U.
Those brownstones were also in Gone Girl starring Ben Affleck, but now we're making our way into Courthouse Square. This area has been used most recently for the series Rutherford Falls with Ed Helms, but it is most remembered for being used for Back to the Future. This clock tower area to the left looks a bit different than it appeared in those films because it was so recognizable. They added a second facade, which is just the front and sides of the building and front of the clock tower to give it a more neutral appearance so other productions would want to use it.
It was actually the back lot, the Courthouse Square, that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had scenes up at the clock tower on that ledge. It was a ledge about that wide, and I was standing inside looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo. I just thought there's no way in the world, no way I would stand all that. I was up there for quite a while. Of course, I had a cable.
This area was also the courthouse in To Kill a Mockingbird. It was used quite a bit for the series Ghost Whisperer and for Hairspray Live. They filmed a lot of scenes down here as well. And for that film, this area was Baltimore, Maryland in the 1960s. But now we're making our way onto the longest continuous set at Universal. It is called New York Street. There are optical illusions at play to make it appear even bigger and larger than life. The street curves at either direction to create the illusion that it goes on, and the windows in the buildings get smaller as they go up to create the illusion that the buildings are taller than the about 50 feet tall that they are. But my co-host Jimmy has spent a lot of time in the real New York City for Saturday Night Live, so let's turn it over once again to Jimmy.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. I once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just, just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
American Ninja Warrior films on New York Street. They set up their obstacle courses up and down the street, but now we are leaving the concrete jungle behind and we're making our way toward the actual jungle. Let's hear from director Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. And so I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
And as we make our way towards Skull Island, just want to give you a safety reminder. Remember to stay seated, keeping our arms and legs inside the tram. Also make sure to secure your belongings, anything loose, phones, all that good stuff. Make sure they're nice and secure as we head on in to Skull Island. Hang on to those 3D glasses, you don't need them quite yet. Peter Jackson himself will let you know when to pop those on. but definitely keep them handy. You will be needing them momentarily.
Glasses on, everybody. We're back to Skull Island.
What we just saw was projected on some of the largest 3D digital screens in the world. They're more than 180 feet long and more than 40 feet tall. And for that attraction, Peter Jackson collaborated with Weta Digital. Weta has won 6 Academy Awards. They worked on films like The Jungle Book, King Kong, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And Weta and Peter Jackson go way back. They worked together on one of my favorites back in the 90s called The Frighteners. It stars Michael J. Fox, a great one to keep in mind with Halloween around the corner.
So they like that movie? With a Project Studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know people are not looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts, because it's one giant shot, and this tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature song. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
For the original King Kong in the 1930s, Kong was played by an 18-inch tall puppet. At the time, that was considered advanced special effects, and the film took over a year to complete. During that attraction, part of our tram got pulled into the action, making our tram a picture car. Anytime a car appears on screen during a TV show or a movie, we call it a picture car. Some picture cars are so recognizable, so memorable, they become even more famous than the actors driving them. And picture cars aren't always cars. It could be a plane, train, bus, bicycle, even a boat, which you will see an example of up ahead, is considered a picture car or studio car when it appears on screen. Here on the left are some of Universal's famous picture cars. Up ahead, we are going to be entering that quiet zone for Quantum Leap. There's still a ton to see as we move through the quiet zone. Hopefully some stuff from that production, as well as just lots of awesome sets as part of the studio tour. I'll play some clips with the volume turned down as we move through the quiet zone, but I will have to be off microphone. So again, that's for the series Quantum Leap, filming it down in 6 Points, Texas. That's our western area. Let's head on in and explore some set pieces from Jurassic Park. And make sure you're staying seated on the tram. Thank you.
Tu filmais? Assistam meg minyon, tu filmais assim.
Bilmiyorum da şu buradan da
Assim, tu filmais. Asiga bekle panela. Asiga koşinde bekle utar milyon tasar gayet izliyor. Gayet güzel. Aslı koşinde utar milyon
Alen tu mește? Arode de ele sunt. Poți să stai să avem la arode de ele. Ce? Şak şaklar ki. Stike sorun.
Hedo yeko de.
Pena, çatsam pena.
Gidiyorum pena.
Now we have entered Soundstage 50. I'm able to talk in here because Soundstage's being 98% soundproof here as those doors close. But we will be entering back into that quiet zone for just a little bit longer when we exit the Soundstage. This Soundstage was used for an episode of Bones starring Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz.
He looks very upset. When I talked to her, she's like, in his arms.
All right, folks, just a little tremor, nothing to worry about. Everybody just get seated. We'll be, oh, okay, this might be a little bigger than I thought. Hang on, everybody. All right, folks, I think it's over. We're gonna try to pull out of here, but oh no, it looks like a water main broke.
Voi ascoltare strane, papà ascoltare. Io ascolto.
sensor, there's all kind of...
All right, folks, we've reached the end of that quiet zone for Quantum Leap. And I was playing some clips while we were down there, but that was Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives. It's used a ton for filming, and it's often closed for that reason, for filming, so it's always a treat to get down there on the studio tour. Right now we are climbing a road called Wilderness Road that also gets used a bunch for filming. It was used for scenes for Bird Box starring Sandra Bullock, an episode of 911, a big mudslide happened down this hill, and an episode of Desperate Housewives, Susan's car broke down here on the side of the road. So filmmakers need to make it look like they're in the middle of nowhere. They could achieve that effect here on Wilderness Road without having to leave the studio to film on location. Up here on the corner are some more of Universal's famous picture cars. Great examples of how just seeing a car on screen and nothing else can inform so much about time period and location of a production. We've got lots of Fast and Furious vehicles up here. That bright yellow car first thing on the right was used in American Graffiti. But these cars have a very, very unfortunate neighbor. They are forced to reside next to the Bates Motel, made famous by Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and its sequels.
We all know that match sometimes.
Up here on the hill is the house where Norman lived with his dear-old mom in the original Psycho. Oh no, folks, it looks like Norman himself is actually home on the balcony, or on the porch of his house. Unfortunately, the only way through for the studio tour is to pass right by Norman. This very dangerous individual will try to be as safe as possible as we make our way past. Oh no. Alright folks, we're going as fast as we can. This is a tight turn. Oh, that was a close call for the fourth tram, but we all made it. And now we are exploring one of the largest sets ever constructed, the disaster site from the War of the Worlds, starring Dakota Fanning and Tom Cruise. This set includes a real Boeing 747 airplane deconstructed that cost just $60,000 to purchase, not bad, but $200,000 to dismantle and transport.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Stephen had.
And for to sit down and talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good.
You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Listen, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay. Just got them closed.
Okay.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
This set is so realistic. It's been used to train real search and rescue dogs. It also appeared in the Netflix show Love, starring Paul Rust. Now we've reached about the 10-minute mark of our tour. Just a safety reminder, remember to stay seated, hang on to your belongings as we head on into the next portion of the tour, which is a brand new addition, super exciting. We are approaching a set called Jupiter's Claim. It is from the sci-fi thriller Nope, in theaters now, brought to us by Academy Award-winning director and writer Jordan Peele. This is the actual set from that film. It was meticulously reconstructed here for the studio tour to enjoy. So let's head on in to Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Jupe Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie kid show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Well, not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of no.